Okay. Down here. Okay. Oops. Sorry.
Shabbat Shalom. I can see we've already got a lot of people joining us on Zoom. Brad, how many people are on Zoom already?
Looks like we've got 14, 15.
We've got at least 15 participants. I know some of you are joining as a family, which is wonderful to see everybody. I'm going to ask that you leave yourself muted during the service. We can unmute everybody afterwards for the oneg. I hope you stick around. If you're just now joining us on Facebook or YouTube, welcome. Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to see you. And I hope that you will also stick around for the oneg, and you can chat with other people on Facebook in the chat or on YouTube. But it's wonderful to see so many faces, so many people joining us this Shabbat. Let's begin with a song. I think that's always a great way to start a service. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Now, remember, if you're singing at home, I can't hear you. Nobody else can hear you except the folks that are stuck at home with you right now. So please do sing along with all of our songs. Sing it loud. Sing it as proudly as you can, in key, out of key. I like to do a mixture of both. I hope that you're at home singing right along with me. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we in our lives be among those who kindle light. May we also be a light to all those who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. That's the wrong tune. Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Sometimes when the wrong music comes to you, it's enters your head and it just pushes everything else out. But God knows the music and the words. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom. On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. And for our next musical piece for this, what's turning out to be a very musical Shabbat, Shalom Aleichem. You may know the music from Rabbi Goldfarb. No relation. Rabbi Goldfarb, who wrote the probably most familiar version of Shalom Aleichem in 1908, which now is escaping me as well. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet. That's the Goldfarb. You may also know the Debbie Friedman. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet. Today, I think that we're going to do a different one. You may or may not be familiar with it. It's an Israeli version, and I just needed something a little bit more upbeat for today. So if it's new to you, you'll pick it up pretty quickly. If you are just now hearing it for the first time, I hope you'll sing along. And if you do know this Israeli version of Shalom Aleichem, I hope that you'll sing right along with me. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As we welcome in the peaceful presence of Shabbat into our homes, into our hearts, we join together at this moment as we join in prayer. The Baruch Hu in ancient times was the call to prayer. It is the beginning of our service, and as we transition from these preparatory prayers that get us in the mood to pray, as we enter the true beginning of the prayer service, now that our souls are warmed up, now that we're prepared, now that we stretched out all of those soul muscles, and we're ready to get into it, we transition with the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'almad yivarach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'vyomechon u'b'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Ba'agala, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה, ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירה בעלמא ואמרו Amen. We rise now for the Baruch Hu. If you are able to physically rise, you rise with your body. If you are unable to physically rise, as the Talmud tells us, you rise in your heart and direct your heart towards Jerusalem, towards the temple, towards God. I will be physically turning my body for this prayer towards the ark, where we often sense the presence of God most readily, the ark which contains all of our Sifrei Torah, our Torah scrolls. But of course, God's presence is everywhere. If it is your custom to face east, you may. If it is not your custom to face east, you may face any direction and pray. You'll see during this service that I will face, except for the Baruch Hu, I will be facing towards you, even though I am not facing east right now. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain, on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv ahavim. You keep loving us as you have always loved us, Adonai our God. You impart to us Torah and mitzvot, to know reality and justice. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we are to rest for the night and when we are to rise for the day, we will make your principles our conversation. That will give us steady joy as we talk Torah and plan to do mitzvot. This is what we live for. This is what keeps us going day and night. We will ponder their meaning. Just keep on all along loving us. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed. You may be seated if it is your custom to stand for the Shema. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha וקשבתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and on earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then we shall rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot osef aleh. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Let us lie down in peaceful breath and quiet mind. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim, guided to a restful sleep that refreshes our energy and fills us with gratitude for our lives. Ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha. And let the stars be spread above our homes like a blanket of heavenly warmth. Release us from the agony of uncertainty, guided by wise and sure counsel, cutting through the noise of shifting voices to hear your eternal message. V'haser me'aleinu oyev, dever, v'cherev, v'ra'av, v'yagon. Be our personal protective barrier against invisible and encroaching enemies, not only the virus, but our own doubts and anxieties, boredom, inner unrest and turmoil in our homes. Let us not redirect our own fear towards those we love in the form of anger, criticism, withdrawal, or impatience. Let social distancing not lead to being socially distant. As we strive to protect one another, let your divine protection surround us and fill our spirits. Ushmor tzeitenu uvoreinu lechayim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam, because you, O God, guard and watch over us in our homes, and when we must leave our homes. You guard and watch over frontline healthcare workers. You guard and watch over all essential workers who feed, clean, provide, protect, and sustain. You make miracles of human decency and hope arise in our souls and spread throughout the world. Let hope and humanity, caring and health continue to bloom today and every day until our world is whole again. Baruch atah Adonai, blessed are you, Adonai, haporeh sukat shalom aleinu, who weaves the heavens like a blanket over us. Ve'al kol hamo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol ha'olam, bringing peace, healing, and wholeness to Israel, Jerusalem, and the entire world. We rise now for the central prayer, the Amidah, the Tefillah, you may rise in your homes and in your hearts. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agit tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Ata Rav L'Hoshiach, Morid HaPal, Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of our world. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We continue now in personal prayer and silent meditation. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. May the one who causes peace to reign in the high heavens let peace descend on us and on all Israel, to let us say, Amen. We pause at this time in our service to take a moment to say a prayer of healing for all those who are in need of God's healing. We know at this time, just as with the previous Shabbats, there have been so many people affected so acutely by the coronavirus, by COVID-19, here in McAllen, here in Hidalgo County, here in Texas, especially. We know that there are people all over the world that are still being affected and in need of great healing at this time. In addition, we ask for God's healing to be with Tal Hazon, Jacob Hazon, Meir Ben Esther, Joanna Batsara, James Dutremaine, Megan Jasso, Yolanda Easley, Oscar Garcia, Yosef Ben Matilde, Caleb Ben Yaakov Micha, Berta Rivas, and Robert Berlin. We ask that God's healing presence be with all of them, bringing them strength, hope, endurance, and according to God's plan, healing in due time. May it be swiftly and soon as we say this prayer of healing. Mishaberach lecholim. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Yisheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. May healing come swiftly and soon to all those who are in need of healing. We're in Parshat Pinchas this week. It's part of the Midbar, the wanderings of our people in the wilderness, led by Moses. Now, Moses lived a very interesting life, if you think about it. He was born as a slave. He grew up in a palace, But all the while he was secretly taught about his true heritage. He killed an Egyptian to defend the life of a slave and then went on a lam. So before he even became a leader, he knew what it was to be a slave and a prince, to be a public figure and to live with secrets. He knew what it was like to be a criminal, a fugitive, an immigrant, a shepherd, a husband, and a father. He knew what it was like to live with power and with an impediment, to be alone and to rely on others, to rescue and be rescued. Perhaps all of these experiences are a part of what made him such an effective leader. He not only cared deeply about justice, but he understood what justice looked like from every point of view. Well, almost every point of view. For all that he had experienced, he had no way to know what life was like as a woman. This week, Moses meets Mahla, Noah, Hogla, and Milcah and Tirzah, 5 incredible women. According to the great commentator Rashi, they're listed here not in order of their seniority, from oldest to youngest, but according to their intelligence. For you see, as wise and as insightful as Moses may have been, even he had blind spots, and he needed the help of these wise women to correct an incomplete ruling. The details may not be terribly exciting unless you happen to have a penchant for property law and inheritance. That's your forewarning, because you see, the Israelites were about to be tallied up to determine the appropriate inheritance of the land of Israel when they entered. The portions were determined by household, which in turn were defined by the head of household, a man, as in all ancient Near Eastern cultures. These 5 sisters, Mahla, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah, had no brothers, no husbands, and their father had died. According to the standard at the time, not just among the Israelites, but among all of the peoples of the ancient Near East, they would not have received any inheritance. However, we are told in the Talmud that Benot Zelafchad Hachamaniot hen, Darshaniyot hen, Tzadakniot hen. Getting tongue-tied on the Hebrew. Zelophehad's daughters were wise, they were insightful, and they were righteous. The Talmud goes on to explain these 3 traits. They are considered wise because they approach the issue from the right angle. Instead of trying to challenge the law of inheritance, the Talmud tells us that they approached Moses with an argument about Levirate marriage. They argued that if they are not children of their father and entitled to an inheritance, then their mother must be considered legally like a virgin, and their uncle would be responsible for them. Without getting too much into the details of ancient biblical law, they basically pointed out a logical contradiction in a related law. They made the right case at the right time. They're considered insightful because they had studied and prepared so that they knew the answer in advance. They built their case carefully and considered every possible argument. They're considered righteous because they all waited to marry, although they wanted to. They waited until the matter was settled. If even one of them had decided to marry and receive both the material and the emotional benefits, then their case would have been sunk. They would not be without a household, but rather they would become attached to a house by marriage. In other words, they showed solidarity, even at great personal expense, in order to seek justice. They put the needs of future women ahead of themselves. We know that it is our job as Jews to always seek justice, tzedek, tzedek tirdof, but we are not always equipped to know how to do it best. This account tells us exactly how. Moses knew how to serve justice to the plight of the immigrant and the wrongfully accused because he had been an immigrant and he had been wrongfully accused. He knew the pain firsthand of being at a disadvantage in society. He could teach about justice for the widow in abstract terms, but he could never really understand her plight. But he was wise enough as a leader to turn to those people experiencing the difficulty to find out their needs firsthand. He knew that rhetoric between privileged leaders would never lead to justice. Only by listening to the disadvantaged people could he advocate for them. Furthermore, Machla, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirza knew that no one was going to fight their fight for them. They knew that they had to come together and make their case. Midrash tells us that they first brought the matter to a local chief, then to the regional authority, then to the chief magistrate, before finally bringing the matter before Moses. Their fight was long and no doubt mired in bureaucracy, but they persevered. Midrash Rabbah points out that they were more tenacious than their male counterparts, by the way, because when things got hard in the wilderness, the men went to Moses demanding to return to Egyptian slavery, whereas Mahla, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirza went to Moses and demanded to have a place in Israel, despite the hardship that they would have to overcome to get there. Whenever we fight for justice, there are times when the hardship seems like more than we can bear, and it may be tempting to give up and return to the status quo. Yet when the status quo is like being locked in a narrow place, Mitzrayim, it is our duty to persevere. These women understood what MLK would come to articulate in his famous letter from the Birmingham jail. We know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Frankly, I have yet to engage in a direct action campaign that was well-timed in the view of those who have not suffered unduly. This wait that they say to us has almost always meant never. We must come to see with one of our distinguished jurists that, quote, justice too long delayed is justice denied. The Talmud praises these women of our tradition for choosing the right time to mount their challenge for the sake of justice. The right time in that it was successful, not in that anyone asked them to do it. It was necessary for the greater justice of society, even one governed by a great prophet like Moses. Finally, you might ask, if Moses was such a great prophet, why didn't he already know the answer? If he had God on speed dial, why didn't God give him the law even before these women came forward? The Talmud tells us that Moses was considered worthy of delivering this law without them, only because he was so humble. He is, after all, called the most humble man who ever lived, in a book that he wrote. He didn't write that part. Yet, at least in this manner, his merit did not exceed theirs. Their humble roots, dogged determination, loyalty, and patience were rewarded not only by receiving the land that they were always entitled to, but also by receiving credit for teaching Moses, our great teacher, a new matter of righteous law. And we owe to them this understanding that justice comes only when we listen to and magnify the voices of the most oppressed, even in a just society. Shabbat Shalom. We have a few announcements this evening. We have one simcha. Jamie Galpern, happy birthday. You had your birthday July 9th, just yesterday. I hope it was a wonderful one. Tomorrow's Torah study will be at 9:30, followed by Saturday morning services at 10:30. That's Central Time for all of you in Eastern or Mountain. I see a few of you already joining us from different time zones. We know that last week when we were streaming, we had people from both coasts and everything in between. We know we had dozens of people joining us from all over the country. I don't know about the international audience. Maybe we'll work on that one day. If you do know of anybody who's overseas who would like to join us for services, please do help them find the Zoom link, the Facebook page, the YouTube, or the direct link that you can watch from anywhere. You can also watch archives of services. Well, there's only, I should say, archives of service, because so far there's just one. That will include this service and tomorrow morning's Shabbat service. Although, if you want to join us for Torah study, use the Zoom link. Learn even more about this great Torah portion and even more about the incredible women contained within this Torah portion. That's the teaser. Okay, I'll give you one more small teaser. The incredible women in this Torah portion are not limited to the 5 that we met this evening. We continue now with our service. As we rise for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'atet gedula liotze breshit, shelo rasanu ki goye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kebishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. At this time in our service, we take a moment to remember all of those who, though no longer with us in this world, are always in our hearts and our memories and live on through us and our deeds. There are stars up above so far away that we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with the people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. This week in particular, we are remembering at the time of Shloshim, in the period of Shloshim, Charlene Hertz. In the period of Sha'ah, in the period of saying Kaddish, we are remembering Alan Sanker, Rhoda Kahn, Carlos Glicksman, Beatrice Goldman, Aaron Asensio, Roy Dale, Adalia Asensio, Antonio Diaz, Leon Wernick, and Myrna Levin. We also remember at the time of their yahrzeits, the anniversary of their death, Jeanette Newman and Cindy Round. Zichronam Levacha, may their memories be a blessing, as well as all those who, though unnamed aloud at this time, are in our hearts, and all those who you name aloud from your home sanctuaries. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, b'hagala u'bizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shemei d'kudeshah v'reichu. Le'ayla min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Hoseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and all the world, to which we say, Amen. We finish our service this week with another upbeat song, Ein Keloheinu, another one of those songs with many, many melodies. The first one that comes to my mind is Ein Keloheinu, Ein Chadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshi'enu, Mi Cheloheinu, Mi Chadonenu, Mi Chemalkeinu, Mi Kemoshi'enu. Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshi'enu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshi'enu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshi'enu. And to kick off our virtual oneg with our Shabbat Kiddush, I invite you to join me with your own Kiddush cups and wine at home. By the way, if you don't have B'ri Hagafen, if you don't have fruit of the vine, you can say Kiddush over any drink which is a celebration, and you'll say, or grape juice, wine or grape juice. You can say it over any beverage, you'll just change the blessing to Shehakol, Nihiyeh B'dvaro. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon, hinpilanu. Zikaron למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו, Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us, sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and in favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. L'chaim. This week, I again, against my better judgment, I put my email and phone number on the final slide here. I hope that you will contact me with any comments about the service, but especially if you look at the question there, do you have a favorite song or prayer? I want to know about it. Did you like the songs? Some of them were different. Some of them were hopefully very familiar. Are there any prayers that we didn't have during this service that you'd like to see in future services? Let me know. I want to hear from you, and I want to include all of your favorite prayers, all of your favorite melodies, as this is a community that prays together. Right now, even though sometimes it feels like it's just me up here, I know that it's not just me up here. It's all of us praying all across these wide and expansive and socially distant sanctuaries where we are right now. In just a moment, we are going to continue with our virtual Oneg. I look forward to seeing you all then, but for just this moment now, I'm going to stop the video. Actually, I'm going to ask Brad to stop the video. Again, big thank you to Brad for helping us out, making all of the computer stuff possible. And I'll see you in just a minute. Shabbat Shalom.